Hey folks, Buried Blasters in the Desert here. Here making another little video about some carry methods. And I know we did a video not too long ago talking about holsters and daily carry and what I typically am carrying most of the time. And as you recall, that's typically my Phlster Floodlight with my Grey Ghost combat pistol and the mod light on it. So that's my most common gun to be carrying. But in the world that we live in right now is kind of weird. Some of you probably know that I work in pretty much a corporate world. I spend a lot of my time, or in the past have spent a lot of my time, having to work around basically, the business casual kind of dress. And with COVID and everything going on, we've been working remotely, working from home for quite some time now. But there's, of course, always some plans in place for us to start going back to the office. And what that means for me is that I've got to start dusting off a lot of this business casual kind of dress stuff that I don't typically wear, on a normal basis. I'm a t-shirt and jeans kind of guy. I don't normally wear something like this. I don't do much with collars. I don't tuck in shirts very often. And so as we are preparing to go back into office, I've got to get this stuff back out. Got to get the old iron out. I am going to need new pants because I can't wear jeans every day. But that means that a lot of this stuff is just going to be coming back into my more regular daily wear rotation. It's going to be stuff that I'm wearing more often. I want to preface this real quick by saying that I'm not carrying at the office. I don't want to get into folks who are undoubtedly going to talk to me and tell me that I should, because bad things can happen anywhere and you need to be carrying. I've done the risk assessment. I've figured out what works for me and what doesn't. And so I just want to make it very clear that I'm not talking today about carrying at work. If you work in a place where it's allowed, more power to you. If you work in a place where it's not allowed and you do it anyway, whatever, I don't care. If you choose not to carry for whatever reason, that's entirely up to you. I'm not going to get into it. But again, this is not a discussion of carrying at work or other non-permissive environments, if you will. I'm just putting out the fact that I'm now getting back into wearing more fitted clothing, things like just a basic button-up, polo shirts, things like that. I don't typically wear a suit for work, so I don't. This isn't going to really address that. What I'm going to talk about could very easily. I know lots of people have. And so what I'm going to talk about today is the Phlster Enigma, and I purchased the standard Phlster Enigma quite some time ago, actually. I got the light-bearing model so that I could carry pretty much all of my guns. Again, I typically do carry a gun with a light on it, and so I made sure to get... I waited a little longer for them to come out with the light-bearing model of it. Picked up one of those when I had the opportunity. Carried it for quite some time with different setups, different things that I happened to be wearing at the time, and it worked pretty well for me. The thing that I really found, though, was that the idea behind the Enigma for me was to be able to carry in a more discreet, much more low profile style, with things like tucked in shirts, or if I'm wearing something that doesn't have a belt or whatever. And in cases like that, what I found was that carrying a full-size gun like this was kind of defeating a lot of that purpose. I could do it, sure, like that was, like it's not a problem. It carries well, it conceals well, it's comfortable, etc., etc. But what I was trying to get towards more was as low profile, smallest footprint that I could possibly get, given the limitations that are in place for me. And those limitations typically, generally, are just what guns do I have. And so I was in the market for just the standard Enigma to pick one of those up. A little bit of a wait list, and then they came back in stock. I was like, well, I don't know. And then along comes this guy. This is the Phlster Enigma Express. And so what the Express is, it's packaged with a slightly different Enigma chassis. Belt is a little bit more, a little bit simplified. It comes standard with the regular leg leash and all that stuff, of course. And this package also includes the holster. And so what you do is when you go to order one of these, you select the Express and then the options in it. It's a somewhat narrower field of options for the holster that you're going to get. A narrower field of available guns that you'll be able to use it with. A couple of SIGs, I think the 365, and some of those smaller ones, the smaller Glocks. And then you just choose right-handed, left-handed, whatever. For me, I chose this one here for the Glock 19 because I do have a Glock 19. It's one that I picked up just about a year ago, found it in a pawn shop, and it was a hideous green color, and had it redone, refinished by the guys over at Cerakote Southwest, because they're amazing and I love the work that they do. And put an RMR on it, put a Overwatch precision trigger in it, the Tau Development striker control device gadget on it, but opted to skip the light for this particular gun. It does not have a weapon mounted light on it. I've got a pile of lights laying around somewhere that I could throw on there if I wanted to, if I decided that I wanted to carry it in, something like the floodlight or whatever, if I chose to do that. But I wanted to keep it a little bit smaller. Glock 19 is not a very big gun. It does conceal quite well. I'm reminded, going back some years, primary and secondary podcasts talking about the one gun. If you're only going to have one gun, Glock 19 fits the bill because it's small enough to carry conceal, to be easy to shoot, but it's large enough. It takes standard size magazines. I can put a Glock 17 magazine in, it works just fine. Parts, etc., etc., etc. I'm not trying to sell you guys on Glock 19. You all know the Glock 19. But so I picked up the Enigma Express here from my boy Dave Levy. Gave me a nice little deal on the package. I opted for the Glock 19 with I think it's the skeleton, the Phlster skeleton holster. I don't think it's a specific holster made for this. I think it's just one of their other standard ones, but obviously not floodlight. And what I found is that this does a much better job of allowing me to conceal that Glock much more easily in an outfit such as this. So I can wear this. I'm not protruding anything. I'm not clearly hiding. I don't have guns, handles and grips and butts and stuff sticking out all over the place. But I do have the Glock on me. It is, right there. And so for me, again, what I was looking for was something low profile that I could carry in this more business casual style. still carry essentially a full-size gun, but it is smaller. Again, it doesn't have the light, doesn't have the Glock 17 length, etc. But be more discreet. So there are no, obviously, no belt clips sticking out here, nothing hanging over the edge, nothing weird sticking out. It's between layers, so I have this shirt tucked over it. I have a little t-shirt tucked in behind it. I prefer that. It just gives a little bit of extra protection against my belly from rubbing up against that. Oh, the Glock also has the little magwell on it. I forgot that. It pokes right there. So that's why I went with the Enigma Express for this particular one. It fits a very particular need that I had. It's served me well. I was just out traveling for some time. I did have the larger gun with the floodlight with me because I had some time out in the woods and I like to have the light on it when I'm out there. But carrying the Enigma Express with the Glock 19 has worked wonderfully for me. If you're looking for something that's in a smaller, lower profile, smaller footprint, more lightweight, then I think it's definitely a good option for you. You can wear it with or without the belt, and I'm wearing it with the belt because typically if I'm in a business casual kind of setting, I wear a belt, because if you wear like this, shirt tucked in without a belt, I just think it looks weird. Suited Shootist can correct me on that if beltless wear is en vogue nowadays. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm going to take it off here real quick and we'll talk about the features of it and what I like, what I don't like. Alright, so back here, got the Enigma Express off of me. You guys don't need to see all my everything going on as I take that on and off. So again, the big difference between the Enigma Express and the standard Enigma is that the standard Enigma comes just with the chassis. It's compatible with a whole range of different holsters that are appendix carried and include a wing and a claw with a particular mounting style. The sizing of the holes that are used to put it together is what determines it. If you go to Phlster's website, they've got a whole list of compatible holsters that they know to be compatible. So if you've got one that you're not quite sure about, check that list. If it's on there, you're good. If not, try it out anyway, because that's how that list grows. The Enigma Express, when you purchase it, again, you select the holster that you want to use with it. It's a somewhat shorter list of available holsters, but they are known to work specifically with the smaller Enigma Express chassis. Again, I'm carrying my Glock 19 in it, and so that's the one that I opted for. This is it is marked for Glock 19 and 26, so the 26 will fit in there also. Just real quick for reference, you can see this is empty and it is clear. I'm not really going to be using it too much, but just for the sake of that. So that's the gun that I'm carrying, just a very standard Glock 19 with the RMR. I do have suppressor height sights on it from Rainier Arms, the fiber optics. If you recall from my video about Warcat holsters, those particular holsters are designed to work with the RMR, but not with the suppressor height sights. There, I think, are valid reasons why they did that, but whatever. So this is just the basic gun that I wanted to carry. It's one of the smaller ones that I have, probably the smallest actually gun that I have that's compatible with this, I should say. I do have my little Smith & Wesson 442 or 642, whichever one's the black one. It's the little J-frame that I carry in a Phlster City Special that, I don't know, maybe it'll work on this. Who knows? But, so Glock 19 is typically what I'm carrying in it. So again, the Express is the chassis system here. You purchase it. It does come with the holster there. In the bag, in the packaging, you do have the belt. You can opt for the sport belt from Phlster also, which is just, it's got some extra padding on it if that's what you want to use. I'm not really intending to use this in the kind of situations where I think I would need that. For me, again, going for lower profile, the sport belt is comfortable from what I hear, but having the padding around the back is, I think, just going to add a little bit of bulk that I don't think I want for this particular setup. It does have the Phlster, the little fidlock here that's got the little tab you pull up. Just magnetic, latches right in there. It's very solid. It's a slightly different design than on the standard Enigma, just kind of streamlined it. It's not, the attachment is a little bit different on both sides. It doesn't have the large bolts on there that are a little bit more adjustable. And then it doesn't have the extra, this carbon fiber or whatever it is that they use on those. The larger standard Enigma has those kind of on the edge of the belts there, and then you put it in there. And you adjust it and then tighten it down exactly how you need it. This, again, is designed to be just sort of plug and play. Like, it comes out of the box, you throw the holster on it, and you're ready to go. So that does mean that there are slightly, it's slightly less adjustable, if you will, but for my purposes, it's worked just fine. There's some slack on the right-hand side, strong side, for a little bit of adjustment there, and then plenty of additional on the end here for adjusting it out to pretty much any size that you need. I think it goes up to like 50-inch waist size that it'll accommodate. You know, find the size that you want. If you want to cut some of this off, you can obviously do that. I've just left it on there because I haven't quite decided exactly how I want to do it. If I'm wearing an undershirt, I tend to run it just a tiny bit looser. So what I might do is just find a good spot and then, you know, cut it with just a tiny bit of little extra there so I can go in and out, you know, an inch, half inch, something like that. COVID times, you know, a lot of folks staying home and talking about, you know, gaining some weight working at home or whatever. For me, since I'm not going downtown to work every day, I'm not surrounded by amazing food all the time, so my diet has changed. I've actually lost some weight, and so I've had to do things like get a different belt, slim down my pants, stuff like that. So the Express has plenty of space here for adjusting to any changes like that. The holster itself, just your basic Phlster holster. It's, again, you'll select whichever one you want. I got the 19. It attaches very simply, just two little screws right there, hold it in place. It does have the wing attached to it on the back that is attached to the holster. So I think you can see that. So that's attached to the holster, and then the entire holster is bolted onto the chassis. The packaging that comes with this includes two different wing heights, so you can put this wing on it, and then the little spacer. See if you can get a good look at that. The little spacer right there. So there's that one that's kind of the shorter one, and then it does include a somewhat larger one that you can put on there. Again, that just bolts right onto the claw wing itself there. Comes with a couple extra little spacers if you need them for putting whatever onto here. The leg leash, it does come with the standard Enigma Leg Leash, which is this sort of this same kind of thing here. It's a little thin fabric. that's designed, of course, to go around the leg to keep the holster from kind of sliding up and down as you move around or as you go to draw the gun, so that it's not just, you know, pulling the whole thing up along onto your waist. I personally opted to go and get myself the larger mule tape leg leash from Levo Designs, which for me, I really prefer it, just the larger size. The thinner one, it works just fine. It works exactly as it's intended. I found it to be just a little bit, not cutting, but it was, it digs into the leg a little bit more. And so this, so Levo Designs came out with this wider leg leash. It does add a little bit of bulk, so if you're concerned about having, you know, the lines in your pants or whatever, this is obviously going to show a little bit more. I'm not wearing anything too skin tight, so it's not really an issue for me. Very simple buckle on this one. Again, it's actually magnetic on this side. This little piece just drops right in there like that and then latches in place, and it's pretty solid. When you want to take it off, just lift that up and it comes off. One thing that I did, and I know that there are some available options for doing this kind of, I guess, more officially, is I found that when the leg leash is on, it tended to droop down a little bit. And so I'd put it around my leg and have it just below, kind of where at the pocket line here. And as the day would go on, I'd wear it, it'd slide down, slide down, slide down, until eventually it's, you know, halfway down my leg. And then every time I'd move, it would be pulling basically on my thigh, on the back of my leg, kind of constricting my movement a little bit. And so, like I said, I think there's sort of an official way to do it, but what I did is I just took a little piece of this little paracord here, kind of stitched it on. It's very loosely on the belt here, but what I do is when I go to put the leg leash on, is I just loop this through the top, snap it into place there. And what that does is that keeps this up a little bit higher. And what I'll do is I'll actually kind of demonstrate how this works. So that goes on like this. Of course, I'm wearing a belt, so I'm going to actually loosen this up a little bit so that you can see. Or actually, I'm just going to take this belt off real quick. I do wear this belt almost all the time, so that's another thing with, you know, with wearing the standard Enigma it's great if you're not wearing a belt, but I find that I typically am wearing a belt most days anyway. So, so let's see if I can get this here. Okay. So again, you know, this just goes around like that. This fidlock here, let's see if I get that in the camera a little better. Latches right in. This is your adjustment. Tighten it down to however tight you need it to be. This is, you know, you can adjust this height if you want to have it up a little bit higher, if you want to have it a little bit lower, depending on what kind of concealment you want to have, what kind of garment you might have over it. If you want to have it a little higher, a little lower, entirely up to you. So the leg leash, again, like I said, I just basically, this is a little piece of cord here. I kind of rigged that up, stitched it together so it doesn't come off. I didn't want to just tie a knot because I was worried that would just come loose or have a weird little bulk. So the Levo leg leash, again, as I bring it up, and instead of just latching it on like that and then worrying about this falling down, because I don't know if you can see how much this thing falls down sometimes. So I just come up, grab it into that little loop, and then fasten it in place. And that keeps the leash really exactly where I want it to be. So when it's underneath my pants, again, since it's a little larger, this Levo tape leash is a little bit larger, you get a little bit more printing on it, but for me, that's okay. This is typically going to be right about here, my pocket area. And so if it looks like there's something there, it just looks like there's something kind of weird in my pocket. There's also, of course, an extra layer there, so it blends in a little bit better. The gun then, of course, just goes straight in there. How you want to carry it, where you want to carry it, up high, a little lower, again, could be really dependent on what you're wearing it with, what kind of pants you might be wearing it with, shorts, leggings, yoga pants, whatever, as well as what kind of cover garment. I tend to wear it right about here so that the butt of the gun is just above the belt line. If you're wearing a belt with a larger buckle, of course, since this is right in the front, you're going to have a little bit of extra space, sticking out right here. If you're wearing a different kind of belt, or if you can wear it to the side or whatever, typically when I'm wearing my floodlight, I have that Aries gear belt with the buckle off to 10 o'clock position or so, just to not have a whole extra layer right there. But it does fit just fine underneath the belt, as I was just wearing it under the belt also. Again, different spacers, so if you want to tuck the butt of the gun in just a little bit more, you can put that larger spacer on the back there, and basically just fine tune it to fit however you need. And so again, for me, I have a sort of particular need and a desire, a role that I wanted this to fit. This fits it just perfectly. So if you are looking for something that gives you a nice low profile, slim fit, and you don't need light bearing, you want something very simple, a nice, complete, all-in-one package, Enigma Express, I think, has pretty much set the standard for that kind of, this kind of an item right now. I am a Phlster fanboy, of course. I love pretty much everything they do. I do want it to be known that I purchased all of these myself. Again, thanks to Dave Levy for getting me a good deal on it, but it's still, this is money out of my pocket. These are not provided to me. I'm not beholden to anybody on these. I just really like them, and I think that depending on your needs and what you want to do and what you want to be able to carry and how you want to carry it, it's probably a really good option for you. So go check it out. I'm going to drop a link in the description below. And as always, feel free to leave comments, questions, concerns, brownie recipes, whatever you have. And thanks for watching.